Forum videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 170 right now with Nick Kalikas from MMA oddsmaker.com and contributing analyst for MMA oddsmaker.com as well, Brad Taschuk. All right, guys, last fight we're going to cover is Robert Whittaker and Stephen Thompson. And, I think on the other fights of this card, we gave some pretty good picks. Here, this is going to be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to watching it. As far as betting it, I think it's going to be a pass. Very competitive line, right? Thompson minus 135, Whittaker plus 115 on the other side. And, that makes sense. It's an interesting stylistic matchup. Should be a pretty competitive fight. I wouldn't want to bet against either one of these guys. So I think it's going to be a pass for me, at least on the side. Brad Taschuk, what's your take on this fight?
At this point, if I had to take a side, I would be leaning towards Robert Whittaker. I think he's the younger fighter. I think he's got the higher ceiling. Stephen Thompson obviously has made some progress in his game. His wrestling isn't quite as abysmal as it was when he first came into the UFC and got completely ragdolled by Matt Brown in his second fight. His striking is obviously very dangerous, but I think Whittaker is going to have some physical advantages. I think he's going to be the faster fighter here. I think he might actually be able to get a takedown or two if he needs it. And overall, I just like the progression that he's made far more than Wonderboy's arc.
Yeah, I hear you, but do you think that there's it's worth betting? You think there's some value at plus 115? I mean, where do you think the line should be?
Well, I actually talked to Nick about this one before he opened it, and I said that I'm probably going to pick Robert Whittaker outright in this fight. So if you can pick somebody outright, if you think he wins more than 50% of the time and you get some plus money on it, I think that that's something that, just logically I might have to make a play on Robert Whittaker. Sure. I think that he should maybe be, minus 130, minus 140, that range, but still a pretty close fight.
Yeah, those can be great betting situations where you have a competitive line, but, the wrong side is favored. Nick Kalikas, where'd you open this line?
I opened it actually Thompson minus 130 and the comeback minus 110, so 40-cent line or whatever on the opener. So it's staying ballpark with Thompson as a slight favorite here in this spot. And it is a barn burner. I agree completely with what you said early on, because this is really a fan's type of fight, because both these guys are going to stand up and bang, and they're both very talented strikers. I mean, Whittaker's boxing is off the hook at times. I mean, the only problem with him is sometimes he just doesn't tend to get aggressive enough. But man, the guy reminds me of for the weight class, a little Mike Tyson. He's got that much power in his fist. I mean, he can knock out most when he connects. But that being said, his defense, he has been tagged and rocked. And man, Thompson is one of these guys that's a sniper in his own right. I mean, his karate background, his kickboxing credentials, it's legit. It's no make-believe. I know some people are disappointed with the way he's performed so far in the UFC, but make no mistake, this guy is a special striker. So you're getting two guys, kind of different type of strikers, but it's going to be an interesting stand-up battle. And the beauty of this fight is both of them got takedown defense enough to kind of fend each other off there. I think that would be neutralized because Thompson is starting to shoot for takedowns from time to time a little bit more so, but his wrestling I don't think is on par to get Whittaker down. I think Whittaker's wrestling's improving. He could probably get a takedown or two here, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold Stephen Thompson down either. So I think we're going to see this fight play out on the feet, and it's going to be competitive back and forth. The guys are going to start landing. I've been honestly going back and forth on this one myself. It is a true pick'em type of fight.
So the way you're describing it, it sounds like maybe a shot with some kind of finish inside the distance might be worth something. Under 2.5 right now at 5 dimes, just minus 110, not a big price there at all.
Yeah, but the problem is here, both of these guys are strikers that can also not just dish it out, they can take it.
Right.
So they absorb punishment pretty well. They have been rocked, like I said, but at the same time, they're used to, that striking action and getting hit, taking shots. So it's hard because they're so durable that, sure, this fight can end because both of them are so talented on the feet, but at the same time, again, defensively, they can probably make some adjustments throughout the fight. They might respect each other enough that it kind of is a slower paced fight on the feet at times too. So we could see some clock tick away that way.
So I'm guessing then that, you haven't gotten any notable sharp or public action favoring either side, that it's basically been split.
Yeah, exactly. At this point early on, I think a lot of people really firmly believe it's a pick-em type of fight as well. So I think the only value in this spot would be on fight day if you see some drastic movement one way or the other at the plus money, though. If that's a spot, then you got to go for that. But don't lay juice in this spot. Especially with the judges as well. Yeah. It's going to be a fun fight. Sit back, watch it. If you do get an outrageous line, if Whittaker becomes plus 130, plus 140, and you want to take a small stab at that point, I totally understand that.
All right, well, Brad Taschuk sees some value even at the current line of plus 115. Brad Taschuk, do you have any opinion on the over? over? You think it's more likely to go to the cards or more likely to go under 2.5 rounds?
I think it's more likely to go to the cards as well. Obviously, Whittaker does hit very hard. Stephen Thompson has a great repertoire of strikes. We've seen some of those head kicks. If those connect, they can put anybody out. But I think that Whittaker is not going to do the same things defensively that he did against Colton Smith, where he was leaving that left arm hanging down and it let him get tagged with a couple punches. I think he was more worried about the takedown in that fight than he's going to be here. So his defense is going to be tighter. Same thing goes for Stephen Thompson. So I do see this one going the distance.